Hi, my name is Paige Niston, and I'm a therapist here at Mount Comprehensive Care Center. I received a referral from your daughter's school counselor, and I think that's why we're all here today. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to start off, if y'all don't care, can you just introduce yourselves, please?
My name is Amy, and I'm their mother, basically a single mother. Their father is not involved, or pretty much not involved.
Okay, and so you're Brooke, I assume. Okay, how old are you, Brooke?
12.
Okay, so that puts you in what, 6th, 7th grade?
Yeah. 7.
Okay, and
Dawson Prater, 15,
okay, and what grade are you in?
freshman,
Okay, so where do y'all go to school at?
Jackson City.
Okay. I just want to start off by saying that, anything that we discuss here today is completely confidential. The only time that is ever okay for me to repeat what is said in the session is if someone says they're going to hurt themselves or someone else. Unless, they can subpoena my records if there's any legal action involved. And also at any point in time that you all want to see your treatment plans or clinical notes or any sort of documents that the agency has, you can request those and I can print you out a copy. Usually when I start off, if this is something that y'all feel like that you'd be interested in, we can start off with once a week. I usually do 30 minutes to an hour on sessions. And the first time or two that I meet with you all, I like to kind of get an idea, just generally what's going on and some ideas to work on. And so we'll develop an overall treatment goal for the family. And then I usually like to see you all individually at least once a month. So we'll all have individual goals too that we can work on.
I think that sounds really good.
Okay, so let's start off let's just kind of cover the referral. I received it from Brooke's counselor because she had some concerns over her safety and just some things that's going on at school. So why don't you start off, and then Brooke, you can kind of tell us too.
Well, there has been a couple of incidents with the use of their phone. I mean, I hate to take their cell phones. Most kids have them these days. The first incident was she was accused of bullying another kid that was on a live feed. I don't really understand all this, on Facebook, her and another girl. And in the second incident, there was apparently one of the teachers somehow found out that she was online talking to an adult male, apparently in his 30s. She had told me that he was a freshman at another school, and I believed her. I mean, I try to trust my kids, but it really, really infuriated me to the point, I mean, we're seeking legal action against this male because I did get on there and see some of the stuff that he was wanting her to do, and he was wanting her to sneak out of the house, and even, he mentioned Florida, trying to entice her, to leave with him. So I think that's pretty serious and the law is involved. Dawson, since they changed schools, he went from being a straight A student to barely passing right now. He's very angry. They both tell me they like their new school, but they seem very angry at the world right now. And there was an incident where I was in his room cleaning and found what I thought was possibly pot. And when I confronted it to him, he denied it. I went to Walmart and bought it one of those drug tests. He refused to take it. I tried to involve his father. He just laughed it off and says this is just part of growing up, that all teenage boys do this. But, my thing is they stay in my house pretty much 99.9% of the time. And I've basically told him if the grades don't come up and if there's any more instances of possible drugs, that I'm not going to let him play basketball. And if his grades don't come up anyways, they'll probably kick him off the team.
Okay, so it sounds like you have, several concerns with both of your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And both concerns are something that unfortunately we see a lot in kids their age. And both are very dangerous. Both there's a lot of potential risk, both with, drug use and just the internet in general, if that's what's really going on with them. But you also mentioned that there's been, a couple kind of life changes recently, especially with switching schools. Was there a reason that you switched them from their other schools?
Well, Brooke was getting ready to go into the middle school at a different county, and then Dawson was going into the high school, and they both started at Jackson City when they were younger. It was a smaller school, smaller environment, and I just felt it was better for them in the long run if they would go back to a smaller school. And also, where I'm a single mother now, transportation, getting the kids there and back, I would have no way of taking them to Wolfe County school system. Whereas if them going to Jackson City, they have an aunt that works in Jackson several days a week, and then another aunt that could bring them home because her children go there too. So
okay, so Dawson, why don't you start? How do you feel about switching schools? Well, maybe let's start at the beginning. When your mom first started discussing, switching schools and transferring, how did that make you feel?
Well, I didn't feel that bad. I had old friends I'd want to go see again. I hadn't seen them in a while, so I didn't really care that much to switch, so it didn't really matter to me.
Okay, so do you still feel the same way?
Not really. I figured they'd all be happy to have me back, but they really didn't even pay attention to me.
Okay, so you kind of had this build up and excitement going
Yeah.
in, and they just didn't quite, it just didn't live up to your expectations.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Brooke, how about you? When you first learned that you switching schools, how did you feel about that?
I didn't really want to at all.
Okay. Did you express those feelings to your mom?
Yes.
Okay. So was that something that you all actually sit down and talked about, or was there any arguments over switching schools?
yes, there was arguments pretty much all summer. Dawson actually kind of wanted to go back, but Brooke, where she was younger when they switched schools, she didn't really want to go back, just because she had made so many new friends, in Wolfe County, that she wanted to stay with her friends. But like I told her, it was to the point that I had to make the decision that was what was best for our family. It was just impossible. I have a good job where I'm at. It was impossible for me to switch jobs and take a pay cut just so they could stay in that school system.
Okay. So, Brooke, how did you? Your mom said that you were really upset, and you said that you didn't want to go. When it came time to actually beginning the school year, how did you make that adjustment?
I just kind of walked into school and just was kind of just alone for a long time, I guess.
Okay. So.
And then my old friends, they really didn't talk to me a lot till 2 or 3 weeks into school, and I guess everything was okay for a while.
Okay. You said things were okay for a while, but how are things now?
I don't really know. I mean, they're kind of popular than me, I guess, and they all have their little group now and kind of let me out.
Okay. So it sounds like that, from what you all are saying, it seems that neither one made a very good adjustment and that you're not really happy. Do you think that's fair to say? Okay.
I try to get Brooke to play maybe basketball or try cheerleading, hoping that would help her make more friends, but right now she's not willing to try.
Okay.
Which I do think Dawson's made more friends where he's playing basketball, but sometimes I think maybe they're not the best friends that he should have made. They're all a lot older than him. Most of them are already driving, and I wonder if that's not what's
So
putting him on the wrong path.
Okay, so it seems like there's kind of, especially with Dawson, kind of a combination of things. Especially kind of having trouble or not going in and having the friends that you thought you did, but also maybe not making the right friends. You mentioned that you had found what you thought was drug paraphernalia in his room. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what kind of course of action did you take? You talked about, if his grades didn't come up, if there was any other suspected drug use, that he wouldn't get to play basketball.
Yes.
But was there any kind of grounding or any punishment for that?
Yes, he was grounded. He didn't get to go on a school trip. I really didn't tell the school why, but I didn't really think that I needed to. Since it was at home, I just told him he couldn't go, just for his own good.
Okay.
And I did take what I found to a friend that is a state trooper, and he agreed with me. That was definitely the leftovers of pot. And he kind of helped guide me on what I should do with him and tried to talk to him. But Dawson's very stubborn. When you got your father telling you that it's just a part of growing up and it's just all funny, it doesn't help matters any.
Okay. So, we kind of touched on the subject of their dad a couple times, but Dawson, why don't you tell me a little bit more about him? Because it seems from what I've gathered so far that you all don't have a lot of involvement with him. Is that correct?
Yeah, we only see him once or twice every couple months, but I think it's pretty cool. We cruise around, listen to music, have a good time.
Okay. So it sounds like you have a pretty good relationship with your dad. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Brett? How would you say that your relationship is with your dad?
Not good, I guess. We fight a lot, and we don't agree on a lot of things, and he wants me to do sports, and I don't like sports at all. I'm not the sportsy type, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe he actually showed up to a sporting event. Maybe should actually do it. He may have came to one of Dawson's ball games this whole year.
Okay. So not only is there not a lot of involvement, it seems like there's kind of sporadic and just it's not very consistent. Is that right?
Well, basically, when he shows up, he's the hero.
Okay.
And there's a lot of times in between that there's a lot of letdowns.
Okay. Is there any kind of court-ordered visitation?
There's a general set of guidelines, but it's basically whenever if he's going to see him, I'm going to let them see him because it's so very infrequent. Like Dawson said, maybe once every 2 months or something.
Okay. So, for example, Brooke, you said that, that you all don't really get along and stuff. If he wanted to come over and take the kids out to dinner and Brooke didn't want to go, would you still have her go with him, or is that her choice if she wants to stay or go?
I try to encourage her to go just because that is their father, and I want them to see him, even though I don't always agree with what he does. I do want them to see him. I'm not going to make her go, but
Just
I really encourage her to go, yes.
Okay. So it seems to me like, your school counselor probably did the right thing in referring you on in for family therapy. Raising 2 teenagers by yourself is difficult for anyone, but especially single mom and, not really having that support. So we're going to try to maybe use therapy kind of almost as a co-parenting strategy. Like I said, we'll do some individual sessions with you all, but when we're together, we'll also work on not only addressing the problems you all have within the family, issues you may have with each other, concerns you have, but we'll also work on some parenting techniques, different kind of rules and consequences and behaviors. I always like to, do the rules and consequence chart, but also have a reward chart, chores charts. I have a great list and some tools of, age appropriate chores, and what they're old enough to be responsible for. And I also like to do, have the mom or the parent in the family kind of keep a little diary for me, at least for the first week or two. And any time that you're having an issue with one of the kids or you think that something may be off, write it down so that next week we can come back and we can look at, see if we can find a pattern in any kind of behaviors. But right now it kind of seems like to me, the kids have went through a pretty drastic change by switching schools. a school that Brooke not only didn't want to go to, it seems like, but has continued to kind of struggle with. And that Dawson, was excited to go to and kind of got let down once he was there. So we're going to work a lot on, especially in individuals sessions, talking about, how they feel. Maybe kind of delve into a little bit deeper into what's going on at school, things that, they may not feel comfortable telling the parent. And then when we're together, we may try to work on a little bit more home life and see if we can make things a little bit easier for you all